mas pagkanay mo nakati Adunya so ilago niya sa ilig niya Tatagan to jam fan ni mas jab mo na kanto mo Sa eno na'y nakantay mas tahu Ang sa kaso na tiyon birahaw tayo mano'y leg mo Basta to inhino kikanta mo Undiya hatiku ya sagwanya Sa paraw dingo na itanong niya Sumano na igigera Sa atu hamin na nyaw niya Kau paraw apamihin na naw niya Atu ni tubu ilago niya Sa ileg niya Sa kwahu kanta jam fan ni masamu na kanta mo Sa eno na'y nakantay masahu Ang sa kaso na di malas ang gikarera In fin, in hingot kantong mo ni Inwaita Jam fan ni masamu na kanta mo Sa eno na'y nakantay masahu Ang sa kaso natin mirahaw tayo mano'y leg mo Estanza inhino kikanta mo Asagahu kanta jam fan ni masamu na kanta mo Sa eno na'y nakantay masahu Dan sa kaso na di malas ang gikarera In fin, inhingot kanta mo ni Inwaita Manit nun ni familia niya Pamadispidi ited lunihan Sa inagan ni Sana
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. A judge in New York ordered Sean Diddy Combs held without bail. He pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Prosecutors say he abused women for years while using blackmail and shocking acts of violence to keep his victims in line. Former federal prosecutor Niyama Ramani says there is a reason it took a while to indict Combs.
Diddy is reportedly worth $1 billion. Many of these victims have sued him. He could try to pay them off through civil settlements to buy their silence. Second, Diddy could intimidate the victim witnesses.
His lawyer says Combs is not a perfect person. There has been drug use. He has been in toxic relationships, but he is receiving treatment and therapy for things that he needs treatment and therapy for. Florida is going to start an investigation into the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Governor Ron DeSantis says he wants the state to follow up on what the feds have not been doing.
To say you're going to do a couple gun charges, that is not going to be sufficient to do it. So they clearly have jurisdiction in the statewide prosecutor. We have a very strong interest in holding this suspect accountable to the fullest extent of the law, and we are in a better position in the state of Florida to be able to provide answers to the public.
Court documents say the suspect, Ryan Routh, camped outside Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach with food and a rifle for nearly 12 hours over the weekend. He is in custody. David Lockridge, a key employee who labeled a doomed experimental submersible, the Titan, unsafe prior to its last fatal voyage last year, testified this could have been prevented if a federal agency, OSHA, had investigated his complaint. Lockridge says the Titan mission was all about the money.
Smoke and mirrors all the social media that you see about all these past expeditions.
The Dow finished lower on Wall Street. This is AP News. Mali's army says militants attacked a military training area near the airport in the country's capital.
As explosions were heard in the area, adding gunmen had attempted to infiltrate the Faladi Gendarme School and a sweep operation was underway. Within hours, the government said it was temporarily closing the nearby airport in the capital Bamako. A security official says that there was unspecified loss of life and significant damage without elaborating. Mali, along with its neighbours Burkina Faso and Niger, has battled an insurgency by armed groups, including some allied with Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
A former Memphis police officer testified he punched a helpless Tyree Nichols at least 5 times, while 2 colleagues held his arms and said hit him, then lied to a supervisor about their use of force in a beating that proved fatal. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawami and greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news from a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good Morning, Marianas.
Dry Wednesday, but the sun is coming out, and it's not waiting until tomorrow. It is here. How about that? And we'll take it. I think we deserved it. We have definitely been through enough wind and rain for the last week and a half, where it's about time that we get some sunlight, and it's a great one out there. Look at that. That's the live look down there at the road on Beach Road in Olei. See traffic picking up a little bit, mostly folks going south. But it is moving right along. Oh, man. Beautiful day out there. We're looking for even better later this week as well. No complaints at all. We're just happy to be here with you guys today. Great to see you. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And, oh, my gosh, wait. I'm going to do a magic trick. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Watch for the magic. I can't believe I forgot it. Magic. Now, if you can't tell the difference of what's different now than what was just a couple minutes ago, then don't worry about it. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's great to have you in here. And it's 82 degrees here, 719 on your Wednesday morning. The humidity's at 85% up at the Saipan International Airport today. If you like the sun, well, this might be your day. because we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms today, but partly sunny with a high near 87. Light winds out of the east, 6 to 8 miles per hour. 30% chance of rain. Well, don't worry about that. That means we're going to get some rain for sure, but we'll be all right. Tonight, we're going to get some more isolated showers, mostly cloudy skies, low around 78, and that same light wind. Tomorrow is a carbon copy, but the wind kicks up from 7 to 11 miles per hour and a 30% chance of rain. So we got a pretty good chance, like a slight chance of rain. But like Landon Adla tells us from National Weather Service, if their forecast includes a percentage of rain, it's pretty much going to rain. That's just how it works. Now, the 30% is you got a 30% chance of it getting you. So, well, that's what we're at right now. Anyway, it looks like we're going to have a great day today because we are here. Great to see all of you guys out there. Oh, what, is Mariano out there too? It's good to see you. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Peeling. Good to see you guys for sure. Good morning, Luisa. And good morning, everybody. And, man, I'll tell you, we got some videos from Tobot of what it was like in Guam the last couple of days, and it was just awful. In fact, let me see if I could pull that up for you real quick. I meant to do it. He's our Melesso meteorologist, and I'll tell you, on Monday, oh yeah, you're able to hear that for sure, but it would be better if I could actually just show it to you. Let's see, put it on the share. This is them cruising through over here. It'd also help if I put that on the screen. Here you go. This is cruising through Melesso on Monday.
Reporting live from Melesso. It's flooded part.
Yeah, you don't get that. Hey, where else? On the ground, Tobot Castro. Let's transition back, and he's out there in Guam right now taking care of his late father's passing with all his siblings and family members down there. So our hearts are with you, buddy, and we wish you all the best as you grieve your dad and celebrate his life. And we look forward to you getting back. Excuse me. It's going to be a great day up here. I'll tell you that. I know it's going to be a lot better up here, and especially because this, like what we were talking about last night at the debate. Did you guys watch the debate last night? Because if you didn't, holy cow, you guys missed out. It was all 5 candidates there. They're all dressed up and looking fancy and stuff to talk about all the issues that they think are the most important for the Marianas and what's going on with us here. And they, no cheap shots taken. In fact, it was so smooth. Nobody in the chamber thought it was going to go that smooth. There's all kinds of time that was built in just so in the event that, it took a little bit longer or people were talking over each other or anything. But no, there were no punches thrown at all, literally or figuratively. There was nothing crazy. Just a lot of people. I mean, there were some subtle jabs, I guess, but super subtle, that if you don't know like what's going on out here in the Marianas, if you don't know the politics here and some of the issues that are going on out here, you wouldn't get them. But they were there. Again, subtle. Oh. And some other takeaways, they were just very cordial. They were very nice to each other, for sure. There were some things that I thought were interesting, for sure. And we'll break them down a little bit for the next couple of days this week. We actually have some guests coming in tomorrow that were supposed to come in yesterday, but they were probably suffering from the same ailments as I was because we were all out there talking about the military and everything coming in. So tomorrow is going to be the industry day, and we're all going to head over to, after the show, we're going to head to Crown and watch that. Jerry, good morning to you too. Woo. Look at me, yawning like a champion. This is a new Olympic event for me. I think I could get the gold for sure. Man, so I wrote some notes down during the debate last night. I mean, Kim's answer on NX6 sounded like that was like one of those strong, confident answers that you get out of that. I had someone else write an answer on just the takeaways Data. Okay, that's got to be in reference to John Gonzalez when he was writing, when he was talking about how he wants to be informed, make informed decisions. It was a recurring theme for him. Yeah, a lot of great answers from everybody. But what was that? That's all I've got on that. That was something that we heard from Jim a few times at the end of his answers. And Kim, she had a really good closing, and I know that she's going to catch some jokes from her friends about it, about asking for people to vote for her in December. But I'm guessing they're probably not going to wait till December. I think they're probably going to go ahead and do that in November. That's all kidding, but I mean, that was just that, caught up in the moment. It was a great night, man. I'll tell you, it was really good to see everybody out there. All the candidates looked great. They all presented really well and got some great points. Excuse me, I'm yawning. I'll tell you what, the combination of the last couple of days and then preparing for this last night was fantastic. Before I get too deep into it, though, I want to tell you, I want to thank the people who were a big part of that debate last night. And, of course, the Saipan Chamber of Commerce team, Kim Camacho, and the entire team, Waylani and Jamie, and then getting their interns. I mean, it was outstanding. They did such a great job. Catherine Perry was the moderator, and she was wonderful last night also. She was just so great in her delivery. She didn't wield Thor's hammer and jump in on anything. She really let the candidates do their, work their magic. The timing was great. And I really loved especially how they set up the timing so that not only could the candidates see the timer, but everyone in the crowd could see the timer. And we did the best on our broadcast to show you the timer too, just to give you an idea. There's only one incident where somebody was speaking long, and the rules were that the mics would get muted once your time ran out. And it only happened once, and it wasn't a big deal. It just happened. So now that's just for that part of it. But I got to tell you, I'm so thankful. You see those lights and the audio. That's because we went with DJ Rico and Sound Hire. Wow, those guys. They set everything up. It was their vision. They wanted to make it look great, and boy, did they. I mean, I'm looking at still of the screen right now, and when I walked in there yesterday, I was blown away by how great it looked. It just looked awesome. It was probably the best looking thing I've seen in a while. And we got 5 candidates, so you got to make it look good out there. And I think it looked great. And it's hard to do that with 5 people. I mean, the gubernatorial election 2 years ago must have been difficult with 3 as opposed to 2, but add 2 more onto that. Trying to get all the questions out there, all the answers, all the yawns. Oh my gosh. And it was just well done. Now, on the production side, also, Jojo Alapuzzo, man, my heart with this guy. He is just the best. I could talk to you for hours about him. But yesterday, him and the team from Island Image and Motion and Marianas Productions really getting it done, setting up all the cameras, getting the great angles, and getting all the background shots, all the transitions, putting together the commercials for the breaks, the loops, the music, the graphics, everything. Guys, I can't tell you, I get to work with this guy all the time, and he's one of the reasons why I'm here and doing this stuff. He's one of those guys that really gave me the confidence to push through and do this, and then get the studio, and then start working on projects together. I found my penguin in JoJo. He's just the best, and he just crushed it last night. And then I just got to be there, and I was working on the comments. I took a bunch of photos while everything was going on. I took some videos too, but I took a bunch of photos that we're going to post on the Facebook and Instagram today, and you'll be able to see them. And then what's the other one? I took some videos, but just to show you some behind the scenes stuff, which is pretty cool. Wow, good morning, Ann. Good to see you too. Thanks for tuning in. Really, it's great. But I had a great time. So what do you guys think about the debate last night? Looking forward to hearing what you have to say. If you want to call us, you can. Number is 789-2323, 670-789-2323 if you've got some comments. Somebody, by the way, messaged me that they sent a message to the show phone. They sent it via LinkedIn, I think, or Facebook. And I'm like, no, we did not get that. So I've just checked it this morning, and we didn't get it. So I'll message you back. But if you're watching today, I didn't see it yet. What else? Yeah, tell us what you thought about it. Please, what did you think about that debate last night? What did you think about the candidates who were out there? Did you learn anything new? Did you hear something from one of the candidates that you really liked? Did you hear something you didn't like? Anything that was surprising? I mean, one thing that surprised me was Leanna Hofschneider saying that Canada is a viable tourism market for us. I'd love to hear more about that. I didn't think about Canada. I don't know how many people were, but Canada, I'll take it, eh? I mean, like, it's a great spot. Is this in the way? It is in the way. Holy cow. How have I just not noticed this the whole time? But yeah, Canada. I had not thought about Canada. I don't know that anybody's been considering Canada, but Canada could be that spot for us. Maybe? I don't know. It seems like a long haul for people to fly out here. But hey, if we end up becoming a tourism hub for Canada, and that would open up cheaper flights for us to go to Canada, outstanding. Because I love Canada, the land of maple syrup. I love that place. I've been there a million times since I was a kid. And played hockey there a million times. But if we can get some like direct flights to Vancouver and then fly out from there, deal. I'm in. 'Cause I could get a flight to Toronto and save a bunch of money and take a car, hitch a ride to get down to Buffalo. It's only like an hour and a half. Deal. Yeah, they did. I'm with you, Ann. I see it in the comments about that. I mean, you can definitely feel that they are passionate about wanting to do it. That they want to, they don't just want to win an election. They want to serve the community. That's why no matter who you're for or who you're against, no matter what team you're on, there's got to just be some respect for everybody who is running because they're putting themselves out there. They are opening themselves up to all kinds of scrutiny because they want to serve the community. I think that's pretty cool. And it's admirable as well. So I absolutely love it. All right, hey, it's 7:32 a.m. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I am going to make a real quick adjustment. We already gave you guys the Associated Press update for the 7 o'clock hour, so that's good. We're just going to take a real quick break and then come right back. So don't run away. We're not going anywhere, but there's enough time for you to sneak in a real quick workout. And the best place to do it is right down the street in Chalkanoa at the base of the Aquarius Beach Tower is Laddie Built 24-Hour Fitness. That's right, 24 hours a day. You don't have an excuse anymore about not finding the time because they're open all the time for you to go in and get a workout in. Whether you're looking for your machines or the racks or the free weights or the octagon, cold plunge, the sauna, you name it, they got it. Supplements, protein shakes, the only thing they need is you. Go on down there and find out why more people are going down to Laddie Built 24-Hour Fitness.
Persistence to build, be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a Lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence to build. Be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
Hello and a blessed Hofede and Tiro. My name is Jose Rabago Jr. and I kindly ask today for your prayers. If you don't know me, people know me as a photographer, a graphic designer, a church member, a choir member. But today, I just kindly ask, as a normal person, I'm just kindly asking for your prayers. As of recently, I've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called myasthenia gravis. And with this condition, it's drastically changed my life. I've gained double vision, weakness in my face, and in all parts of my bodies, and in general weakness overall. It's made life a little bit too difficult. I have upcoming surgery of island that can help me with my sickness. And this is why I kindly ask for your prayers. As of now, there's no current cure for this disease, but especially with my friends, family, close friends by my side, I know, and I always know that I gotta keep going. People still know me as the person who never stops, and that's what I'd like to continue doing. Never stop serving God, never stop serving people. And if you're willing, kindly ask if we can pray together. Prayer for the sick. All praise and glory is yours, Lord our God, for you have called us to serve you in love. Bless all who are sick so that they may bear this illness in union with your Son's obedient suffering. Restore them to health and lead them to glory. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Kindly thank you for praying with me today. I only ask for prayers, but if you have a generous heart and are willing to give anything, I'm open. Just give me a message. But honestly, I know the prayers work, and I know that's what I need to overcome the surgery, to overcome this sickness. Because overall, there's only one healer, and there's only one God.
All right, welcome back. It's 7:36 a.m. on Wednesday. That's not a bad thing at all. Means you're out there, you're driving to work. Look at the traffic's backing up a little bit out here on Beach Road. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It could be worse. Don't worry, Saipan. I'll tell you what, there's the weather's a lot better than it has been too. And well, we'll talk a little bit about that, but I'll tell you, I went out this morning when I'm getting ready. This is a photo we took this morning from right outside of the studio, telling you that we got some better days ahead. You need to have sun to have a rainbow. You need to have rain too. But there it is. I mean, like perfectly arched. What's underneath there? The shack. Maybe that's a sign saying, come to the shack today. So I don't know what your breakfast plans are, but go out and get yourself some coffee. Go get yourself a smile. Go visit the folks down at the shack right across the street from us. Hey, it's going to be a good day for sure. All right, well, we are back, and we were talking a little bit about the debate from last night because that was the story. All five candidates gathered together, and I'll tell you what, we had a great stream because the folks at IT&E, all of our bandwidth. When we do these kind of things, whether it's covering baseball or the debates or the elections or any of the other events that we do, like the parade, and soccer, whenever we're covering something, it's IT&E providing us with all the bandwidth that we need. They give us the solutions that we need to make stuff happen too. So we consult them on all these different locations, where we're going, how to do it, and they give us the best answer on how to bring that to us. And I'll tell you what, that is what you would hope that you get from your communications company. I don't know that everybody does it, but I know they do. They don't look at us as just being a customer. They look at us as being a partner, and that's how we look at them as well. When we're going to do something, we call our partner and say, hey, we want to do this. What do you think? What's the best way of going about it? And it's the coolest thing that we are able to work together like that. And they're enthusiastic about what our business is doing, and we're happy about that for sure. All right, well, last night's debate did bring up some interesting topics. And again, there were 10 topics, and they all found out all the questions and the topics when we did. The moderator didn't know them. They were opening up the envelopes with them. Josh Wise, vice president of the chamber, handing them to Catherine Perry. She didn't have a clue. The candidates didn't have a clue, and it was great. Man, everybody got all dressed up and fancy and everything last night. It was really great. It was a great turnout for everybody, and a good crowd that was there, supportive. Everybody was, there was no clapping during the thing. There's no cheering during the thing, because they didn't want to have interruptions. They wanted to just push through and everything. But at the end, everyone was able to clap them up a little bit. And again, I heard some things that I really liked from all the candidates. I mean, everybody had at least a couple of good points to bring up. Now, you might not agree with all of them, and that's fine. And they didn't agree with each other all the time, and that's fine too. However, you could hear some of them acknowledging each other's points sometimes, like, hey, I got to tell you, I like that point that you brought in. All right, I support that thing that you were bringing up. And that was something like I'm not sure that I was expecting that, but that makes great sense. Do it. Acknowledge it, and that's the best part about this stuff, right? The best part about it is that you don't have to be so focused on just winning so much as, hey, that's a good point. We should do that, and move forward. Elon Musk did that with regards to like the rockets for the SpaceX program. It was really interesting. I can't remember the exact thing, but he was citing how like one of the types of rockets uses this, but the other one doesn't. And the reporter just asked him, yeah, why? He's like, that's a good question. And then they changed it. And just like that, the ability to change and to embrace an idea that isn't yours because it's better for the whole project overall, or for our case, it's the community overall. And I absolutely love that for sure. Also, man, I love that we're doing these events, stuff like that. It's definitely helping our page grow. Our pages are starting to grow. So if you're watching and you haven't already, please give us a follow here on Facebook on the NMI News Service page. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, where we're broadcasting at the same time right now. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if you hit that little bell, it'll give you a notification every time that we go live. So we've got the debate all queued up, but there's a lot to talk about with it, and we're going to end up scrolling through and showing you all this other stuff. But one of the debate topics was about transportation and about cabotage and about inter-island travel, and some of those things we need to get squared away on our own before we even reach out to federal partners to give us some kind of a subsidy. Oh, jeez. Got a call coming in. Hold on. Let's take this real quick. Alfredo, good morning. You're on Good Morning Marianas. Who's this?
Hey, good morning, Brad. This is Piling.
Piling, good morning. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. I watched the debate last night on your program, on your post. I really wanted to hear something about the question with white collar crimes. Because the problem with our island is there's always this conflict of interest. So any of those 5 candidates, are they willing to go and represent us and ask for help with the Department of Justice in case something like that happen again? That even the judges are basing themselves on a conflict of interest, so cannot move forward with any case. And also now it's going towards the Attorney General. Cannot represent if the governor office commit a crime or whatever. You cannot take the governor to court because he's also representing the governor's office or whatever office. So any of the 5 candidates have in mind of trying to find an avenue for like the Department of Justice to represent such cases. That's my question.
Yeah, it's a great one too. I think a lot of it would help if they went and asked for us to get our own U.S. attorney, instead of having the U.S. attorney based out of Guam, if we had one for the CNMI as well, so that we could have someone who's willing to take a stand on bigger issues instead of like, I think, and it might not be fair to Sean Anderson, but I think that the U.S. attorneys in Guam look at us as a little bit of an afterthought because of all the stuff they've got going on over there. So if we had our own,
that's one way.
Mhm.
That's one way. If that's the avenue that we need, our cinema needs to take, then it should be considered. You know.
mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That would be a great one for us.
Justice delay is justice denied. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a pretty big delay.
Yeah. It's very much delayed. It's like a drama show, you know, like as the world turns, days of our lives, you know, it's like the daily show that we watch on TV. You know, there's a never ending as the world turns.
Hey, what was your the thing you took away from the debate last night that you liked the most?
I'm pretty much aiming Congressman Ed Probst and John Oliver Gonzalez. I really like the way they answer the question.
Yes.
Ed Probst and John Oliver Gonzalez.
That's great.
And no offense to the other candidates or their supporters, but that's my choice. And I hope everybody's happy with my choice because I'm happy with their choice.
Well, you're going to get some more opportunities to see these candidates also. In fact, NMC is going to host an event next month as well. Another forum. I think that one's going to be at Memorial Park, and where you'll get them all together again.
We need to start loving each other on our island. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we need to stop hating each other because our choice does not match. It's a choice. That's why it's called your choice. So we should love. We should love our choice, and we should love their choice. And thank you, Brad. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And to the people of our beautiful Sinamay and Guam, I love you all.
Hey, we love you too. Thanks for calling in. Really appreciate it, Peeling. Good. Have a great day. All right, that was Peeling Zetmo. Give us a call. Hey, Peeling, you might not have seen the comment roll in while you were talking, but candidate Ray Fan is in the comments, and he said that he is agreed on trying to get our own U.S. attorney as one way to address Peeling's concern. So there you go. You got one of the candidates right there who agrees with that idea. So pretty cool about how to get in there with that. And how about that? It's not like 4 out of 5 dentists approve, but at least it sounds like we got at least one candidate who approves of the show. That's what I'll say. 1 out of 4 candidates endorses the show. All right. Well, those were some good points, Peeling. I think that would be a real big deal for us, someone to try and get some help for DOJ, and I think that's it. You know, for addressing not just white-collar crime, but just addressing anything that would normally pass through the courts here on the district court level. It's a big deal. Now, what we were getting to before that was talk about the candidates when they spoke about the travel and the inter-island travel and cabotage, and that as one of the topics for last night. And one of the things that we would be best served is figuring out some things on our own local level first before we have to go up there. And there's an ongoing dispute, maybe you want to call it a dispute, between Star Marianas and the Commonwealth Ports Authority. And I'll tell you what, there was a meeting between the Star Marianas folks and the governor and the governor's legal counsel to talk about some of the issues they're currently experiencing. Then Star Marianas fired off a letter talking about how good they feel that the governor's office has a really good understanding about everything that's happening, and from their perspective at least. So they felt like their concerns were understood by the folks who could actually do something about it. Well, anyway, a couple new letters came out in the last couple of days, and so here it is. The one that just came out yesterday, and by the way, I'll tell you, I didn't get this stuff out to you so much because we were just doing so much stuff for this debate and getting ready for it. But here's the deal. This is a letter from Bob Christian, who is the chairman for Star Marianas, and I'm going to put it on the screen for you here so you can take a look at it. Kapow. It's the request for clarification on Rota Airport staffing and potential flight cancellations. Now, this is a big deal for the folks in Rota and Guam, and we'll tell you why in just a bit, because in order for there to be a flight from Rota to Guam, you need to have Customs and Border Patrol at the airport in Rota so that people can clear immigration to go to Guam, right? So how are they going to get them there? Because these guys don't live there. So what's happening is Star Marianas is going to Guam, picking up those officers, bringing them to Rota, and then they're taking care of all the clearing, and then they got to fly them back. So there's a cost involved with that. So Star Marianas is the one doing it, and apparently there's a deal with CPA that they're supposed to be paying Star Marianas for doing that, because it's really CPA's job to make sure that the appropriate officials are there at the airport, right? So here's this. This is a letter to Mr. Tudela. Leo Tudela is the executive director for the CPA. He replaced Chris Tenorio when they have the new board come in and the new regime. So here's the letter from Bob Christian. Dear Mr. Tudela, this letter is to follow up on the letter he sent on September 2nd regarding Star Marianas Air's decision to discontinue providing unreimbursed transportation for the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol personnel between Saipan and Rota as of October 1st, 2024. So they're flying them from Saipan. It says, as of today, I've yet to receive a response from you or the other recipients. And this is like 2 weeks later now, right? So it says, given the importance of ensuring compliance with the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol pre-screening requirements for the flights departing Rota to Guam, we're seeking clarification on whether CPA has made arrangements to ensure that adequate staffing will be available at the Rota Airport to facilitate this service. If no such arrangement have been made to meet CBP's requirements, Star Marianas Air will be left with no choice but to notify the U.S. Department of Transportation and our pre-booked passengers that due to circumstances beyond our control, flights between Rota and Guam may need to be canceled. This is unfortunate outcome could have been avoided with adequate facilitation of CBP services by CPA. Please advise us at the earliest, all that stuff. So basically, in order for folks to fly from Rota to Guam, those direct flights, they need to get cleared. And in order to get cleared, you need the officers from CBP. And Star Marianas is flying these officers from Saipan to Rota so that they can go there and then flying them back because these guys don't live there. And there's not enough traffic, apparently, for them to be stationed there all the time, unless it becomes a busier thing. And let's see, this is from Zoom Anglonia. Two senators have been shouldering the cost of CBP officers' travel between Guam and Rota. They need to find a permanent personnel to be stationed at Rota. That's a great question, Zoom. All right, so check this out. They have been doing that. It was Senator Paul and Senator Donald Mangloya who was doing it when he was a representative. Now, here's my thought on that. It's great that their office was doing that because somebody had to do that. But I asked the governor, and I can't remember what the answer was. I'm like, but the question I had was, is that something? I mean, this is a CNMI thing. Is this something that should be paid for out of the discretionary funds of a couple of elected representatives, or is this something that the CNMI should be allocating for as a Commonwealth to take care of that stuff? Because I think it's the latter, and I wasn't going in there just to do it as a opinion piece, but I'll tell you, it was just a shock that a couple of senators now are the ones who are paying for all that stuff, because that should be something the CNMI pays for. And I don't know which entity out of the CNMI. Does that come out of our local transportation? Would that be DPW, or would that be the Commonwealth Ports Authority? But either way, some of those funds that are being allocated and appropriated should absolutely come from a bigger pocket of money to service the people of the Commonwealth as a whole. This is not just like a fun project to help out a few people like a picnic table. This should be, if it's a real concern for the CNMI as a whole, then the CNMI needs to come out and do something as a bigger body. Although hats off to the senators for doing it, that should only be a temporary solution, right? I mean, that's it. Tobot says, hey, they were stationed there before because he tinted the CBP office there in front part of their arrival at the Rhoda airport. You know, I remember they had TSA there too. There was a guy from Saipan who moved there to be the TSA guy from there. I don't know. I think that, you know, it's essentially just a commuter flight. That's where I have the problem. Now, I think we could save ourselves so much of hassle if we don't have to do immigration between the CNMI and Guam. Now, why is that a problem now? It's only a problem because people flying to the CNMI are flying under different, we got different people that have different visas that can travel between here and there. So just change our status. I know this sounds crazy, right? But if you just put us on equal footing with Guam, if you put Guam on equal footing with us with regards to that, then that's not an issue anymore. And you don't even need Customs and Border Patrol there. Or even TSA. You wouldn't need TSA because you're just flying a domestic flight on a commuter airline. Not like like you're not going to the full-on airport. You're going to your commuter airport, which doesn't require all that same kind of stuff. And why is that? It's not like a discount. It's not like saying that you don't matter as much. It's because those little planes aren't doing that kind of September 11th kind of damage. That's the whole reason why they have all those requirements. So you end up doing that, and it makes more sense. It's like flying a commuter plane from like Virginia to West Virginia, essentially, is what you're talking about. It's not a big deal. So if you could get rid of that CBP requirement, it makes so much better sense. Yeah, unless you're coming from Guam, it's the same thing. If you're coming from Guam or you're coming from the CNMI, I think you should be able to fly back and forth with nothing. This is what is killing Rhoda. It's one of the things. Just inter-island travel back and forth. I know, everybody's got customs. All right, fine. And like, it shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be an issue. It's absolutely foolish that we have that. Now, is it a bigger thing to change? Probably. Yeah, I'm with you there. Peach, I'm telling you, Raymond, the thing is with that is just have Guam and the CNMI have the same kind of like visa requirements for everything. Just put us on the same page with people coming in and going back and forth. Now, that goes with our workers too. If you're coming in as a worker, let them be able to travel to Guam and back. Are there problems with that? Maybe, I don't know. But if you're able to get clear to come here, you should be able to get clear to go there. So let them travel over there and take care. How about those smugglers? Well, I'll tell you, those smugglers wouldn't have a problem anymore because they would be able to just fly there. That's it. Just give us the same kind of requirements and give them the same kind of requirements as to fly here. One way or the other, just give us the same stuff and you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's just because it's a bigger island. Well, it's a bigger island. That's it. If you're able to fly, then you don't have that headache. Well, anyway, that's the big issue is that, right? It's about, that's why Rhoda's kind of getting strangled, aside from the shipping, right? But just that lack of freedom to go back and forth without it costing $1 million. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's not enough flights to warrant a CBP office in Rhoda. And so they got to take a seat on the plane. And those planes, it's not like you're flying like a 727. Like you're talking about a plane that's got total of 10 seats. One's for the pilot, and on the flights from Saipan, you probably need 2, right? You get a co-pilot, and then you're down to 8, and so that means you got to fly another one that's there. And why is it free? I don't understand. If CBP, the Customs and Border Patrol Office, requires people to be cleared, why doesn't the Customs and Border Patrol Office have somebody in Rota, right? I mean, that's a federal office. It's a federal organization, and it's a need of the citizens. Why don't they have that, and why aren't they paying for it? I mean, ultimately, that's what it should be. Is it going to be costly? Well, they're going to have to weigh that cost. If they put the requirement on us, they should be the ones who fund it. Absolutely. That's a different issue than what's happening right here. But right now, Star is just saying, well, we're not gonna fly that guy over there anymore. Whoever that officer is, man, woman, it doesn't matter. But they're not. Star Marianas is not going to fly that officer over there without getting paid for it anymore. And does CPA have a plan? And this is to follow up on that letter. Say, hey, and if you don't, we're not doing it anymore. We're not flying from Rota to Guam. So that's crazy. So Zoom says, it's vital that they fix this issue now. A direct flight is very important rather than flying from Rota to Saipan and then Saipan to Guam. Oh, I hear you. Absolutely, loud and clear. I hear you for sure. I mean, it's a big problem. It is an absolute big problem. And, if they could just have a part-time customs guy living in Rota, just train somebody, get them cleared, and get a part-time job with the Customs and Border Patrol and have them there. They can have a real job and a real life for other stuff. And if they only have 2 flights to worry about every day, then just do it. Get them in there. It's opening a door for a stowaway. There's not enough room. Really, there's not enough room on those little planes to do it. And, if you got an extra person that's between like 100 and 200 pounds on those little planes, you're going to notice if all of a sudden they're flying heavy, 100 to 200 pounds heavier than what they had planned on the manifest. So it is a big issue for Rota. And it's sad that they came up with this. They sent them a letter, and 2 weeks later, they still haven't heard back from it. And this is going to be October 1st. They gave them a month's heads up saying, hey, we're not going to keep doing this for free anymore. So what are we going to do? Oh, look, and that is a common sense approach right there. DPS Rota rotation to CBP with differential pay. There you go. It's an easy one. It sounds easy for us, right? But that's a common sense approach. You already got a Leo, your law enforcement officer. Why not do that? That is a great way to get somebody some extra money in Rota. You get them a federal part-time job. Oh, it's so hard to make a new position. Well, do it. People don't have those jobs because they're easy. They have them because they're required. So the folks who are in CBP can make that kind of a request to do that. And you just need to go up the chain. And that's got to be done. And that could be something that can get the help of the U.S. congressman that we've got. Say, hey, CBP, you reach out to them directly. We need some help because we're not having any help right now. We got this big issue. We got this island that's 40 miles away from Guam, and we can't fly to it without this incredible expense. Let's come up with a solution. Here's the solution right now. There's people who are going to want to line up to get this kind of job in Rota, and we'll do it. And that's it. And it could be just that simple, right? But this is not a new issue, right? This is not a new issue, but it's new to people talking about it. especially like media stuff. But it's not a new issue. It's been around for a while, and it's not going to go away. So what's going to happen to Rhoda? Rhoda is like in the crosshairs, man. I'll tell you, they have had it's. I love Rhoda. The people there are the greatest. The food is great. The people are great. But they are perennial punching bags, whether it's from storms or in this instance from their economic punching bags, and they're living at the under the constant threat of stuff like this. But I'll tell you what, that's what makes Rhoda people so badass, because they got to deal with this kind of crap all the time, that they're so good at subsistence living, from like farming and from fishing, big time fishing, right? And crabbing. Hey. But that's why they're more resilient than I think your regular everyday person from Saipan, because they're so accustomed to dealing with this kind of crap. They'll just go out and catch their own. You know, you're going to eat a lot of fish in Rhoda because it's free, as long as you don't have to spend on gas to go out on a boat. I'll tell you, but like you go out there, you get the crabs, you get the lobsters, you get the deer. Oh my God, the Benadu is like, oh, it's so good. And then I'm telling you that that's the place to be if you want to see some badasses. It is. I definitely dig it. Anyway, it's so ridiculous that this is happening again, because it was just recently. I heard Steve Meskin talking about it at the CPA meeting, saying, hey, these guys from CPA are threatening to cancel their flights. What's going to happen? Well, now they're looking at this same kind of thing. If you catch me fishing, I'm practicing my ancestors' way of life, LOL. And hey, if I catch you fishing, I'm going to be like, hey, how come you bit my line? All right. I'm hilarious. All right, that's not the only thing going on with Star Marianas. I know. Here's the other one. Whew. This one's a little heavier. This is this again from Bob Christian. It says formal rebuttal to CPA's coercive fee setting practices under NMIAC 4010.1 and allegations of collusion. A little light reading, as it was suggested as it came my way. 4 pages. So here's what this is all about. Again, for Bob Christian to CPA board chair Jerry Zuzu. Or Joe Azuzu, sorry, not Jerry. Not the athlete. Here it says, on behalf of Star Marianas Air, I am writing to formally and unequivocally object to the unethical and coercive tactics employed by the CPA under the CNMI Administration Code and airport rules and regulations. It's abundantly clear that CPA, in coordination with its legal counsel and consultants, has engaged in a deliberate scheme to bypass federal fee-setting regulations, coerce airlines into compliance with non-compensatory fees, and subvert the principles of fairness mandated by the FAA. This egregious behavior cannot and will not be tolerated. Well, that's how you set the tone in a letter. That's your opening. All right, so let's break this down a little bit. Coercion and forced compliance through the LOA, that's letter of authorization process. All right, so here it is. CPA requires that the airlines must accept all CPA rules and regulations, including the fee-setting methodology, which we've talked about, the fee-setting methodology a ton. Anyway, upon issuance of the LOA is a blatant act of coercion designed to eliminate any opportunity for the airlines to negotiate or challenge its terms. By linking operational access to this acceptance, CPA has created a scenario in which the airlines are left with no choice but to accept the CPA's demands or risk losing access to critical airport infrastructure. This is not only coercive, but represents an abuse of regulatory power and authority. Yeah, well, according to the FAA, you're not able to do that. And they're saying that they even quote the guidelines here. It says it explicitly mandates that non-compensatory fee-setting models must be mutually agreed upon. The CPA's approach, which forces airlines to accept the terms under duress, flagrantly violates this requirement. CPA's insistence that airlines automatically accept these terms on receipt of the LOA without the opportunity for review, negotiation, or objection is nothing short of a violation of the FAA's regulatory framework. Whoa. Yeah, and that was just point number one. He's also saying collusion between CPA, the legal counsel, and consultants. Now, who could this be? We know because we've been talking about it for a couple of years. It is increasingly apparent that CPA, its legal counsel, and its outside consultants are colluding to impose a fee structure that not only circumvents federal regulations, but also serves their mutual financial interests at the expense of the airlines. The issuance of a rate book that lacks transparency and bundles arbitrary costs, combined with unilateral imposition of terms through the LOA, is clear evidence of coordinated effort to force airlines into accepting inflated and unjustified fees. CPA's consultants who have consistently provided flawed and misleading advice under the guise of industry standards are complicit in this effort. Their role in crafting a rate book that is deliberately opaque and lacking in detail further supports the collusion that this is a calculated effort to obscure the true cost being imposed on the airlines. Moreover, the fact that CPA's legal counsel has facilitated this process by drafting and enforcing regulations only underscores the degree to which this collusion has been institutionalized. So, pretty heavy stuff coming from the only local airlines that we've got, right? Let's go. There's only a couple more points here, and we're still cruising through it. I mean, this is fun stuff, right? Yay, a little light reading. Point 3, blatant violations of FAA regulations. I'm telling you, this stuff is wild. CPA's actions represent clear violations of several FAA regulations, including grant assurance under the economic non-discrimination, grant assurance under the fee and rental structure, and then Order 5190.6. And so what are all those about? Economic non-discrimination. It says CPA's fee-setting process, which forces airlines into accepting non-negotiable terms, is a violation of this assurance, which requires that all airport users be treated fairly without discrimination. The CPA's conduct creates a two-tiered system, one where CPA dictates the terms and another where airlines have no recourse but to comply or face operational restrictions. All right, how about the fee and rental structure? It says the FAA mandates that airport fees must be compensatory and tied to the actual costs incurred by the airport. The CPA's rate book is filled with inflated charges and bundled costs for services airlines may not even use. It flies in the face of this requirement. And this is not only a breach of FAA rules, but a deliberate attempt to extort airlines through hidden charges and unjustified fees. And those are some strong words. Now here's FAA Order 5190.6b. It says CPA's systematic effort to force airlines into accepting its non-compensatory fee structure without mutual agreement or transparency is a direct violation of this FAA order. The requirement for mutual consent is not optional, and the CPA's use of LOA process to impose terms without negotiation shows a blatant disregard for federal oversight and accountability. I know we're going to keep going on this, but this is at the heart of this whole issue between the FAA and the CPA. From Star Marianas' point of view, this is essentially a federal airport. It's not, but it's all governed by the federal authorities, right? And it was all paid for with federal funds. And there's federal guidelines for all of this stuff, right? And Star is saying, hey, CPA, you can't just throw your own stuff together that circumvent these rules. It's there for everybody to use. You're the stewards of this airport. and you've got to follow these guidelines, and that's it. You can't make it up as you go along. There's not Saipan rules and then FAA rules. It's FAA rules, and that's it. I think that's the easiest way to boil it down, right? Yeah, and you're right. You're right. You can't. The federal law is the federal law, and that's the way it goes. So here's this part. Now, point number 4 on this is the intentional subversion of the compensatory fee model. All right. It says the CPA's tactics demonstrate a clear and calculated effort to subvert the FAA's compensatory fee model. By using the LOA process as a tool to force compliance, CPA is attempting to legitimize non-compensatory fees without following the established federal process of mutual agreement. This is an abuse of power, and it's evident, that the CPA, its legal team, and consultants are fully aware that their actions violate FAA guidelines. The rate book, which CPA uses to justify these fees, lacks the required transparency and fails to provide an adequate breakdown of services and associated costs. The CPA's continued insistence that the rate book reflects industry standards is misleading, if not fraudulent. The rate book includes services and charges for its facilities that are either not used by the airlines or are grossly inflated with the clear intent of imposing non-compensatory fee structure in violation of the federal law. And we're halfway through, folks. It's, again, 4-pager. At least that 4th page is not so bad. Point number 5. Again, this is the letter from Star Marianas Chairman Bob Christian to the CPA Chair Joe Zuzu. So point number 5, legal exposure and potential remedies. The CPA's actions open the door to significant legal exposure, and Star Marianas Air, along with other airlines, is prepared to take the following actions if necessary. Ooh, line in the sand, right? FAA complaint and investigation. We will be filing a formal complaint with the FAA, calling for an immediate investigation into CPA's fee-setting practices, its use of the LOA process, and its clear violations of Grant Assurances 22 and 24. The FAA has the authority to launch a comprehensive investigation into these practices, and we will be urging the FAA to take corrective action, including, but not limited to, the invalidation of NMI AC 40-10.1, the imposition of penalties and sanctions on the CPA for abusing or for its abusive fee-setting practices, and a requirement that the CPA return to a transparent compensatory fee model that complies with FAA standards. The other thing is point B, litigation. Should the CPA fail to take immediate corrective action, Star Marianas and other affected airlines will pursue litigation to challenge the legality of NMIAC 4010-1 or 40-10.1 and the CPA's coercive tactics. We will argue that NMIAC 40-10.1 is invalid due to its coercive nature and failure to comply with federal aviation law. CPA's fee-setting practices are in violation of FAA guidelines, particularly the requirement that fees be compensatory and mutually agreed upon, and the collusion between CPA, its legal counsel, and its consultants represents an unlawful scheme to extract excessive fees from airlines. Collusion. All right. This is the third thing that Star Marianas is going to do. It said, we demand that the CPA immediately cease using NMI AC 40-10.1 as a mechanism for forcing compliance with non-compensatory fee structure. If the CPA fails to comply, we will pursue all available legal and regulatory remedies to have it invalidated in its entirety. This regulation represents an unlawful abuse of power and a deliberate effort to subvert federal law. Holy cow, these are not weak words. They are coming big, and they are gaining momentum. And so their 6th point in this letter, which this is their final point, says they're making a demand for immediate corrective action. We demand, they say, we demand that the CPA take the following actions without delay. 1, immediately halt the coercive use of the LOA process to force airlines into accepting the CPA's fee-setting methodology. 2, provide full transparency in its rate book with a detailed and itemized breakdown of all fees and services in line with compensatory fee model. 3, initiate a formal negotiation process with airlines regarding any non-compensatory fees structures in compliance with FAA order. And the last one is discontinue the use of any practices or regulations that involve collusion with consultants or legal counsel to obscure the true costs being imposed on the airlines. Failure to take these actions will result in immediate FAA complaints, litigation, and coordinated effort by the affected airlines to seek full regulatory and legal remedies. Sincerely, with love, yours forever, Robert F. Christian, Chairman of CPA. I'll tell you what, to me, it sounds like Star Marianas feel a little emboldened after that meeting with the the governor and his legal counsel. It's like, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Go do it. And they are going to do it. And they are writing letters. They're following up. It's not just send it off and forget about it. No, they are following up on these things. And again, according to that other letter, they had still not received a reply about like one of the most important things to the people in Rota, that they might lose that Guam flight in 2 weeks. And they sent that letter at the beginning of the month, and they still haven't received a reply. So, question is, where do the people in Rota rate to the people of the CPA? I mean, like, it's 1/3 of the CPA. They have an airline and seaport. Or they have an airport and a seaport. And I can't believe that they're not getting that reply. Right? Maybe they don't have an answer. But say, hey, we received your letter. Thank you so much. We're going to get back to you. We're going to address this thing. We're currently working on it. We don't have a plan yet, but we'll get back to you. Still nothing. I'll tell you, I am so glad I'm not a board member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority, because there is so much stuff. Like, this is the worst job to have as a volunteer that gets paid no dollars and no cents. You know, being so not for like a $60 meeting stipend, right? Why? Why would you want to do this unless this is really what you want to do? Unless you really want to serve your community. This is a ton of work to serve your community for some real heavy issues. This is not one of those cake, sit around and enjoy it kind of board positions. This is you got to roll up your sleeves and get a lot done here. And if you don't have an executive director who's crushing it, then it's going to be difficult too, right? So I'm like, if you're one of the members of the board of directors for the Commonwealth Ports Authority, you got to come with it. You need to know what's going on. And maybe this is one of the things that we end up needing, like to mirror CUC a little bit. One of the CUC requirements is that they have someone from off island on the board. I think we get it from Guam, so that we can have someone who's also like a SME, a subject matter expert on stuff like this. And maybe that's what we need for this. I mean, like, there's a bunch of people on the board, and they all have different levels of familiarity with these kind of things. But you know, when you go in there and you watch it, like, and you see stuff like this kind of stuff happening, like, who's going to really dig in and start really crushing these regulations? Are they just handing it off to their legal counsel to do that? And some rando assistant attorney general who doesn't have a whole lot of background for this kind of stuff, do they have to rewrite the Bible, or do they reach out to like a similar sized community? You got to go somewhere to a community that handles small commuter aircraft and large international aircraft, and start and mirror what their fee methodology is. But the thing is, it's all written out by the FAA. If it costs this much, this is what you charge. That's in there. And apparently the way we've got it is a little fuzzy to make sure that there's some extra money that comes in. I'll tell you, CUC is the same way. That FAC is not cut and dry. It is not transparent at all. I've seen it happen. I've seen legislators ask the executive director of the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation, can you provide me a breakdown of what the fuel adjustment charge is? Here's how much it is right now. Tell me what it is as of today and what's factored into that. Well, it's the means of plants and some bad debt. No, wait, but what is it? It's a pad to make sure CUC's always got enough money to buy fuel, right? I mean, you have to pay for that fuel no matter what. Those ships got to keep coming, and we need to keep filling up our tanks so that we can keep having power when it works, right? That's it. No matter what, that's going to happen. But there's a lot of people who aren't paying their bills, and if I'll tell you, if we miss a fuel shipment, a payment, they're not going to keep coming here with regularity, and it's going to cost us more money. So, and that is not a transparent number at all. It's not. The CUC FAC is not. But it keeps CUC working. They need to figure out an easier way, a more transparent way that fits the FAA's regulations. At least, this is just one side of that pancake. We had that story. Like, there's two sides to every pancake. Well, in this one, CPA's got to have a story too. But I feel like if they're in the same room sitting at a table, this conversation's way different. This is just a one-sided, I'm coming with the hammer. And you guys got to do something about this or we're suing you. That's it. But when you see the other guys at the meetings, it's a really interesting thing. A lot of squabbling, right? There's well-intentioned people that want to get some stuff done, and it's like there's not a subject matter expert in the room, right? Oh, they just keep coming back with all these regulations. Well, no crap. They're coming back with regulations. That's right. They're telling you right now that this is how it's supposed to be done. They're telling you, we are industry professionals. We are subject matter experts. This is what you're supposed to do. What you're telling us is not the right stuff. Fix it. It's not a piss and match. Like, it's not an ego fest. It's like, dude, these are the rules. Follow them. And you're not following them, so we have to do something about it. And then people get so defensive. Again, this is just how I view it as a regular, objective person watching it. Well-intentioned people not putting in the work to figure out all this stuff. But now their perspectives on it and their replies on it are well thought also. They're well reasoned. I mean, you can't have a conversation with these folks and not be able to understand their point of view. They have a point of view on this, and they just feel like a lot of it just sounds like respect. They don't feel like they're being respected by the other folks too. Now, I get it. Like, I know some people who are just like well-polished, maybe not. They are subject matter experts, and they don't get all caught up in making their words polished or flowery or friendly particularly, right? They don't go through all those conventions and all that. In fact, they may even view all that as insincere, where they just want to talk about the facts, get it done, move on, right? But that is not an effective way to communicate out here in the Marianas either. So that there's a little bit of that, well, we shouldn't have to. Well, yeah, you should. If your mission is to affect some kind of change in this situation, right? If hitting people over the head with all the facts isn't working and you're going to go around the other way, that's fine. But again, sometimes just a friendly conversation, at least a friendly opening, can help. Brad, we tried that. All right, maybe you did. Fine. But it's when people just start trading letters and emails. It's just not, you might feel well justified in doing it that way. And that might be the only legal requirement to do that way. But if you're not getting anything done, you're just spinning your wheels. It's frustrating to see it. I've been in it. I've been on both sides of that. I have definitely been on the sides, well, like, screw them. This is it. They're not doing it. This is it. They need to adjust to me. Well, even if I was correct that I was in the right as far as that goes, just standing in that position and refusing to, and not being patient enough to have those kind of conversations, I totally remember a specific situation. It's not important in the whole scheme of things in the world, right? But for especially not anything like as important as this, right? I was driving and the tailgate of my truck was open. I didn't realize that I'd left it open. And as I was driving, I went over a speed bump and I had this box fall out of the truck, and I had a couple of shoes fell out of the back of the truck and all this other stuff, right? And I got to the light and someone pulled up next to me. It's like, hey, your tailgate's open. I'm like, oh, crap. All right. Oh, crap. Stuff fell out. So I circle around, go back and get it. And I saw this local guy who was walking out. I got my box, and then there were a couple of other items, though, that he had in his hand that were my items. And the guy was, I think he had consumed a couple of beverages that day. He definitely had. And, I pulled over and I'm like, hey, that's my shoes. Like, well, I know it's your shoes. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Now, and he didn't want to give me my stuff back right away. Now, I was faced with a situation where I could have either just knocked him out and got my stuff back, or said a lot of things to him that weren't very nice and get him mad. And I would have been in the right to have got to say, hey, no, just screw you, give me my stuff, right? Or took a little bit of a breath, had a short conversation with him, got my stuff. The guy realized, maybe in a moment of sobriety, flickered in and got the stuff, or maybe he just didn't want to deal with it anymore. But, the guy's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And you know what? That was almost it. Like, sure, should I have to deal with that? Probably not. Was knowing that I probably don't have to deal with that going to get me my stuff back any faster? No. Was it going to get it in a nonviolent way? No. All right. Just reassess. What's your real goal here? My real goal is to get my way, which is the right way, but my way being, the stuff fell out of my truck and I would like to have my stuff back. And so I had to just change my tone, change my way, and it all worked out. Still wasn't happy about it. And I could still feel really quick in a flash, exactly like, oh boy, I could have just, no. But that wouldn't have helped anything, right? So changing that approach and being a good communicator for stuff like that is part of it. That's right. And that's why some people, it's a soft skill, they call it, right? And that's why it's good to have, it's good to come with the lightning and the thunder, but sometimes you just need to have, that level of communication might help. Oh, man, you don't know. We've been dealing with this for years. And I'm like, I get it. And you're in the right. And not saying they're in the wrong at all. But I'm not even saying that this is the case. But I could see how some of this, after having conversations with folks that are dealing with both perspectives on this. And sometimes having those conversations just still also feel like you're getting nowhere. And you need to make a decision. In that case, it's the same thing where you've got the airport not taking care of getting the officers there and not going to address it and not getting back to you. You almost feel like, they're just flipping you off. It's a tough one. I love these guys. These are our neighbors. These are our friends of this. And this airline it's our airline. It's ours. It belongs here in the CNMI. This is our home airline. It's the only one that calls us home. They're not the ones based out of Guam holding us over a barrel and charging us $600, you know, to get there. This is our airline. We should be awesome with these guys. We know they're not titans of industry, you know, with giant international travel and jets and all this other stuff. We should be fully vested in making sure that they're doing a great job. We make it easy for them to do business here. That's it. Right? We need a couple of diplomats in this little mix. That's exactly what we need. And you need some people who can take some action, decisive, make some decisions, enact them right away, because they need something like now, like right away. No kidding. All right. We are going to take a little break. Why? I want to keep hearing you talk. No, you don't. No, you don't. Are you planning a wave, Brad? Save Star Marianas? No. But it's not even Save Star Marianas. Like, really, and it was more than anything, it's about just getting these guys together to have a real conversation and really figure this kind of stuff out. Because they're not. They're two people who believe that they're right, and they are not. Right? They both can't be. And if the facts are heavily in favor of one, that's fine. They need to have a mediator, I guess, come in and figure this stuff out. Is that mediator the governor's office? I don't know. But I can understand the frustration if you write a letter saying, hey, in a month from now, we're not going to be flying this guy for free. So what are you going to do about it? Have you got a plan? 2 weeks later, you still haven't heard anything back, so you send another one. I'd be pretty frustrated because that is part of your business. You know, I totally understand it. So the question is, what's happening? Vincent's saying, hey, who's got the upper hand? I don't know that anybody has the upper hand in this. You know who doesn't have any hand at all? The people of Rhoda, who are going to get screwed out of this whole thing because of inaction. And that sucks. You know, it sucks. Look at the people who are copied on this letter, too. You got the governor, airport compliance program manager for FAA Western Pacific Region, the manager for FAA Honolulu District, the chief counsel for the FAA, and chief counsel for the U.S. Department of Transportation, Office of Inspector General. I'm looking at the comments. That is so random, Ann. I'll come back to that. All right. It is 8:36 in the morning. I'll tell you what we'll do. We have the latest update from the Associated Press. We just ranted way through when that got released, so we'll get that for you now. We'll throw the traffic cam on so you guys can listen to the update from the Associated Press. We got sports coming up, too, and maybe this week we'll get some baseball back, and I hope that's the case.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Hundreds of handheld pagers exploded nearly simultaneously in parts of Lebanon and Syria, killing at least 9 people, wounding more than 2,700. The AP's Kareem Chahayeb has more from Beirut.
Videos from Beirut's southern suburbs circulating on social media and local media showed people laying on the pavement with wounds on their hands or near their pants pockets. Hezbollah blamed Israel and vowed to retaliate. The group said that the pagers belonged to its members, but we don't yet know whether any senior members of the militant group had those pagers in their possession as well. The Israeli military declined comment.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the state will launch its own criminal investigation into the apparent assassination attempt on former President Trump.
The state of Florida has jurisdiction over the most serious, straightforward offense, which is attempted murder.
Meantime, Sagar Magane reports Kamala Harris has been discussing Trump's rhetoric, particularly about Haitian migrants in Ohio.
In a rare extended interview at the National Association of Black Journalists, the vice president said officials who have a big microphone have a big responsibility, understanding their words have meaning, and Trump's attacks on Springfield's migrants are simply lies.
Grounded in some age-old stuff.
The message now?
Let's turn the page and chart a new way forward and say, you can't have that microphone again.
2 days after another apparent assassination attempt on Trump.
There are far too many people in our country right now who are not feeling safe.
While she does.
Not everybody has Secret Service.
Harris says she spoke with Trump.
Checked on him to see if he was okay.
Trump says he's been shot at because of rhetoric from Harris and President Biden.
I told him what I have said publicly. There's no place for political violence in our country.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
Trump is holding a town hall this evening in Flint, Michigan. This is AP News. Americans spent a bit more last month. The Commerce Department reports retail sales ticked up 0.1% from July. Bankrate.com's Mark Hamrick.
Consumers have been hanging in there, and we know that inflation trends are finally working in our favor, even though we still have elevated prices.
And Seth Sutel has the AP Markets report.
Stocks remained stuck in place on Wall Street ahead of what's expected to be the first cut to interest rates in more than 4 years. The S&P 500 edged up by less than 0.1% Tuesday. The benchmark index is slightly below the all-time high it reached in July. The Dow slipped 15 points. That's less than 0.1%. The Dow pulled a touch below the record high it set a day earlier. The Nasdaq Composite edged up 0.2%. Treasury yields rose in the bond market ahead of Wednesday's announcement by the Federal Reserve. The Fed is widely expected to start cutting interest rates to shore up the economy now that inflation is easing. Seth Sutel, New York.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
All right, Marianas, welcome back. It is 8:40 in the morning here on Wednesday. It is sunny outside, which is something we haven't been able to say for quite some time. I am not complaining about that at all, and it looks like we're starting to dry up a little bit. I got the camera on that guy with the bucket because watch what he's doing. So that bucket was empty. It's empty now. Look at how he's drying the road. He's got a towel, and he is soaping up the water into that towel and putting it in the bucket, and then wringing that out, and then emptying out the bucket. This is why the road construction is taking so long. The way to dry the road is with one dude and a towel? Are you kidding me? I mean, it's working, right? But are you serious? That's their plan? To dry it up so they can hopefully get there? They're going to do it with a dude and a towel. That can't be. Like, I could see if we're talking about, like, I'm doing this at home for my driveway, maybe. I would at least try and use a leaf blower. But how is this an effective use? That is crazy. What's your plan? Well, we'll have our man with the towel dry the road. that can't be. You're a professional company? I mean, at least, oh gosh. That's what we're dealing with. That is why, oh God, I can't believe it. Well, that's what we're dealing with. Oh, you just put more water out there. Let's see if it's good. Some of it went on the road. Let's see how much of it goes back onto the spot he's going to have to dry up with the towel. Oh, yeah, just throw that out there. That's it. Got to get workers who are team players. Man, well, that guy, he's doing it all himself. But the other guy, you see he's got a stick with like a Clorox bottle attached to it, cut, where he's using that as a scoop to do it. I can't imagine, like, that's a job that'll never end. And we're not going to see anything coming out of it. I don't know. Well, don't worry. That's just to give you a little bit of a chuckle, I guess, with regards to like why it's going so slow. Just imagine that is how things are getting done from Chalumpiao to Garapan. day. I mean, serious. It was cool. I got to see the Department of Public Works secretary last night at the debate, and he was expressing a little bit of his thoughts on how things are going, a little bit of the frustration with the contractors, and saying a few things here and there about it. And it's good to know that they just want to get some stuff done. But we talked about the same kind of trouble spots where they've got the same thing. And why are you doing it? Just why are you going into a new spot if you can't finish the one that you're on? And how that's affecting travel and traffic every morning. But it's not the worst thing, because at least it is sunny outside. You look how bright it is behind me. I mean, it's so much better than it has been for days, even though traffic is not super clear right now because we're in a busy time of the day. At least it's out there, and at least it's moving, and at least hopefully this is the week where we finally get baseball again. I know the Bandits and Padres, we still have to see who's going to advance to the finals between these two. A highly anticipated game. There's no excuse about who's too tired to play or a tired arm. When these guys come and play, they're going to bring their best, and I'm here for it. I'm ready. I know that a lot of us who are involved in all this can't wait to see it get back in action. And then the finals is going to be full on 3 series. First team to win 2 games wins the series. So you got the Cardinals, who knocked off the Falcons in a great game. And now we'll find out, is it going to be the Padres or the Bandits? Oh, it's tough. It's a tough one. I like both teams. They both got a lot of good dudes and some good players. And I have a guess. But that's why they play the game. I like the dudes on both teams. They both got really talented squads. I don't know. As soon as I think I know who is going to win, then I'm like, oh, that's right, that dude's on that team. Oh, they got this. So we'll see. They both got pitching. They both got hitting. They both got talent all around. No matter what, whoever makes it to the finals, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Do I have this over here? No, I think I got to do it on the shared screen for you. Yeah, sorry about that, man. I'll tell you what, Vince. I have a real great ability to yawn, and I do it plenty. And so that's it. You know what else? There's been done plenty. Stealing. There's been a lot of stealing lately, and DPS got a couple of these bad guys, and we couldn't be happier. Here, we posted this on the page already. That's not the one I want to transition to. Hold on one second. This is what I want to show you guys. This is the press release that came out from the Department of Public Safety. Sean Regis and Sherry Marie De Los Santos. They got them both for stealing a whole bunch of stuff, allegedly. They said they made a violator stop on a vehicle, and they found drones, power tools, car batteries, luggage, and personal identifications that were stolen from the burglary and theft incidents that we talked about before. And holy smokes, they got them with a whole bunch of stuff. They've been investigating these guys for doing some stealing, but it's because of the tips from you guys. We ended up sending all kinds of info because you guys sent us all kinds of info, and you didn't want the yourselves to be identified, and that was fine. And DPS, they just take those tips and they chase them down. Their criminal investigation bureau, and they went out there and got them. So you guys did some great work out there for the Marianas. So well done, well done. Let's get off of those and we'll come back over here. Yeah, this is one of the other things that we want to talk about. We're going to talk about the debate, and we're going to get to, we talked about that a lot, but next couple of days, we're going to break down more of the debate. We'll feature some of their answers in particular, some of the things that I thought were pretty strong. And again, today we're also, after the show's done, I'm going to post up a bunch of the photos that I took from out there. But, man, I'll tell you, I'll put this back on the screen, though. Hold on one second. Just because I want you guys to see it. And if you watch the debate, you definitely saw that view a whole bunch of times. But let me switch screens for you. But, I mean, look at that. Look at that setup. That is amazing. What a great setup for 5 candidates, too. I love the way that stage was decked out. The chairs, the tables, even those fancy little